Guys, welcome back. How are you doing? This is going to be a great sound design hangout because, well, first I got some really great sounds to play for you that I'm going to deconstruct. We're going to focus on Granulator, which is a Max for Live device. Granulator has been around for a long time, and it's so good that, like, I don't even... Remember how... Sorry, I just heard the volume spike. I just wanted to make sure it didn't cut out, like it made like a cutout sound. I don't know. There's weird energetics in the room, and the heater's on, and it's like very loud. But anyways, Granulator. We're gonna cover Granulator. As I was saying, they really should add it to instruments because, like, why would you not? You can do, we might actually go over all the different, like, granular synthesis areas in Ableton. We might do that, or we might just do Granulator because it's an instrument, a granular synthesizer, and it's so good that there's absolutely no reason why they wouldn't add it into instruments here. Now you might say, well, that's because it's a Max for Live device, but no, like, they added emit, tree tone, vector, FM, vector grain, which vector grain is amazing. We're probably gonna have to do that next. But what's wrong, Chunkush? You just got startled. I don't know. I think there's intense energetics in the house going on. But in any event, yeah, it should add Granulator. Now, hey guys, what is going on? OpenSea, it's an NFT marketplace. You can own this art, purchase it. How exciting. You'll say, I own SDHO, I support it.
An old man.
Now back to the show. So anyways, I was looking and I'm like, well, shit, you know, we're in Max Instruments, and how dare we, or how dare I gloss over, like, the coolest thing. So if you drag Granulator, it's a MIDI effect, and it does do that little graffiti thing. And yeah, I mean, it looks beautiful, so it's not like it would look out of place in the instruments. They really should add that. They'll probably add that at some point, I don't know. So you might be looking at this Granulator and you're like, wow, you really did a lot of talking. I want you to finesse me with some good sounds. Well, why didn't you say so? In fact, we'll delete Granulator. And actually, we won't delete Granulator, but I did some playing. And you can put anything in Granulator. This is a very small piece of audio. In fact, I want to find it. I went to samples and I wanted to get oh, it's probably this. Yeah, it's this. So this is really small, right? Like, this is really small. This is meant to be put in a sampler or put in simpler. So, like, actually, I'm gonna delete this just because I want to save some screen real estate here. It would be meant to, like, take simpler, and this is short, right? So, like, it'll loop and it'll be like an oscillator. So where were we? So, like, look at this. Like, I'm sure you can tell that, like, this is a short sound. I mean, what is that? 15 milliseconds. Let's unclick this, click this. This is what it sounds like. We're gonna want to loop. So click loop. Yeah, it's not really, you would have to, like, you would have to really zoom in and, like, do something like that. You might say, oh, that sounds horrible. Well, of course, but you've got, like, a full frequency sound. You can cut out these frequencies. Now, maybe we might, if we're looking for bass, because it sounds like it wants to be a bass, we got to tick down. Let's see what. Well, first of all, we're silly, absolutely. You know, it's really crazy. I never used to put a spectrum on everything. Never used to until I started doing this channel. Now I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably do that all the time. So there's sample. We got controls. Don't worry, we'll get to Granulator. We're in no rush. Now, what do you do when you've got this filter? We want it to go swoosh. Now, of course, the way you would do it if you were an oldie folgy, you know, by the way, you probably want to give it some drive too. See, no drive? Feel it to drive. Why would you not want that? So if you were an oldie folgy, you would come over here to envelope and you would do this. Just the decay. But we're not oldie folgies anymore because I want to see some movement. I don't know. Is it like clicking like that? It's really weird. What we're going to do is I want to just show you. No, I'm not doing the envelope MIDI song. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing envelope MIDI song. I did it too much and I cringe when I watch it. No, we don't want this one because we're in Max for Live. We're going to go to the MIDI effects one because I don't know, I think it's better or something. Maybe it's actually not better. It could possibly not be better. I found like a weird like little bug with envelope MIDI. So I want to come into the frequency and I want this shape and I want to put it to frequency. See? Just cooler because you could like watch it move. Oh. Wait. I want to flip it negative. I mean, it's doing what we want. It's like it's opening up and then let's see what this will give us a take. I made sure to get back really quickly. Let's take off the attack. Don't worry, we'll get to Granular. Are we not having fun? And by the way, I realized I need to start doing simpler more because there's probably a lot of you that like maybe have like an intro to live and you have samples, you know, like you probably have this sample up here and then you've got simpler. So you might want to know about some of that stuff. I want to see if I can do this. No, we don't want that. So anyways, that was kind of fun. So that's what like, that was just like a thing you would just sample. But what we're going to do is, that's a little thing I played. So this is that. This is like thrown in Granulator. And this is what I came up with. Record enable, of course. Sounds kind of good. So we're really just playing this section here. I don't think LFO's doing anything, and I really don't like this LFO, so I'm just going to turn it off. I don't like this spray either. There's really not too many things. This amplitude modulation sounds awful. This scan thing sounds awful. I hate to say it, and like try it out for yourself, but like for the most part, I know how to get good sounds, and I really just want to cover the important things. The first thing is this file position, like where are we going to be doing it? And see how it's firing these things? It's actually doing what a sampler would do, but it's doing it in like a very unique way. So I want to turn off all the effects. And I want to like show you what it's doing. And do I have anything on here that's doing anything? No, I don't believe so. So what's really interesting is if we threw this into a sampler, okay, like we just did, and like see this highlighted part right here, that was the part we were looping, right? But when we do the sampler, it just fires from the beginning to the end, and then from the beginning to the end, the beginning to the end, beginning to the end. But what this Granulator does, and it actually solved a problem that I wasn't able to figure out how to do in the way I wanted to do, and we can cover that next, which is really unique, because we're going to throw like one of those crystal singing bowls, a sample of it, into Granulator. But so instead of like firing the sample from the beginning of the loop to the end of the loop and then beginning to the end, it like fires one at the beginning and then it fires another one, and like so like they're like cascading off. For whatever reason, it doesn't look like it here because I think it's just happening so damn quickly. So like it's too big, you know? So like if we go to audio effects and we get a tuner, because like, you know what I mean? If it's not registering right there, like you don't want that. Even though it's like, oh yeah, we're getting like a low F, it's not sounding very musical. So that's when you would want to take. So like the most important areas is this grain section and this file position. And if you're saying, oh, spray is important, I don't like it. Listen. Here, we'll come back to spray. What we want is this spread that spreads it out. But it's too big. So like we want this tuner, we want it to know that it's playing. So what's happening is I think they're playing from left to right and then cascading back. So like, and so you can make it like jump around. And if you see it's staying in pitch, it's staying in tune. Like see this A is gonna stay there. Like, you know, because it's like basically the same sound. So like just watch it. The harmonics are changing so you could do that, but we need some spread. That'll like spread it out. So how would you do that? You would put the LFO. First of all, I don't want this LFO because for some reason it just has not been working right. So if I turn this LFO and I turn it down here, it's too like unmusical, and I'm like, yeah, it's like it's just being weird. I don't want, you know what I mean? Like maybe you guys know. I don't know why it's being weird like that. I've been telling you guys for a while, man. I like the inbuilt LFO more because I'd rather just do this. Oh my God, is my CPU spiking? Sounds good, doesn't it? That would be a benefit to use an inbuilt LFO. It may use like less CPU. Yeah, that's just the CPU spiking. What a bummer. It's so weird because it wasn't doing that before. Maybe this uses a lot of resources. So in any event, I think we need to just start fresh. In fact, I'm going to delete that. It didn't sound nowhere near as good as I wanted, and I think we're going to start with the fresh one. I'm not used to going into Max for live. Jeez, that's where, yeah, here we go. And then I had the crystal bowl, and for the first time, I think I've used a MIDI effect rack that I made. But like, this is a crystal bowl, so I think you'll know what I mean when you hear it. I don't think I have many things on. Oh, need to do this. See that next guy? Rather than just one playing. And so that was beneficial because look at this waveform. That's like someone playing the crystal bowl, but like I don't want to just trigger a sample. You know what I mean? Like I could go into simpler. I could trigger. I wonder if I can turn this out. Go back. You know what I mean? Because I want to be able to hold the button down and get the perfect for as long as I want. And I want to be able to play it up and down. And you could be like, oh yeah, you know, just go in there and find the loop and crossfade it and make it all perfect and, you know. But like, this does it now. So just there, rather than being all, ooh, I'm the granulator, we're doing granular synthesis. It's like, no, like in this situation, we're basically like using it just to be, we're using it just to be like, almost like doing a thing that sampler didn't do. And when I sort of like noticed that, I was like, oh, this is This is important. So so you've got this grain view right here. If you go into here, that's where you have your envelope. So if you hear it's fading in, this is the amp envelope. Amp is volume. There's always going to be. That's why I said whenever you're working on any kind of synthesizer sampler, always know where the volume is, because if the sustain is all the way down, you know, well, if you have a lot, like, you know, like, you know what I mean? You won't know what's going on. That all sounded really bad. And the only reason why it does ring out is because I've got like a real big delay on here. Now that's it without delay. Now look at all these guys going. I'm holding down multiple notes. I don't know. For some reason, I have a feeling things are a little bit finicky today, because I was just using this. You know, I've got this recording my voice in GarageBand. Obviously, we've got Ableton running with, I'm guessing, Granulator must use a lot of CPU, which means I probably won't be able to add all of these MIDI effects. Check this stack out that I built. Okay, we got Appreciația, random, note length, Dorian, scale, and this is on. Check this out. Hopefully it doesn't blow up my computer. Please don't blow up the computer. Yeah, that's such a bummer. Like, can you imagine like teaching a tutorial and like your CPU's like not letting you do it? That's insanity. I have an idea. What if we just go into here and will this like lessen the load maybe? Can you even hear that? This is ridiculous. I'm like really bummed out now. So bummed out, I'm just gonna delete this. I don't know. I have a feeling because these dudes were around, I think they've been compromised. Because they were like started in another project. I don't know, maybe this all needs to start fresh. That never happens, and that's like, I don't know, pretty disappointing, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I think we covered what we needed to cover. Yep, you gotta have the graffiti intro. So yeah, I really don't like this LFO. The scan doesn't do what you would think it would do. It just gives like weird atonal chaos. Like if you just use, yeah, I don't like it. And then the AM, so if you got FM, frequency modulation, AM, that means amplitude modulation, which means the volume is getting modulated. So you get like a whoa, whoa, like a whoa, whoa, you know, like quiet, loud, and it doesn't, it just gives all this crazy chaos. It's really weird. It's almost like it doesn't do what it says it would do. But yeah, file position, where in the file, how large, the grain, this spread is what I thought the spray would normally do, and like grain delay, I'm pretty sure spray kind of like blends it all, like kind of like blends the edges, but it doesn't do that with this. But like spread does that. You do a little bit of randomness, and then if you click here, you've got your amp envelope. You obviously have pitch if you want to add FM, which I actually really liked adding the FM, and this is the FM. What's unique is this is the filter and the FM envelope. So this filter A, I believe if you want this filter A, which is on a low pass, if you want it to apply to this, if you want it to apply to an envelope, you would just jack this up. And then same thing if you had FM rolling in here. If you wanted this envelope to apply, you would jack this up. Otherwise, you can just get the FM going here. But let's play around with it. Let's just turn it off so we don't get confused. In fact, that actually saves computer resources. And what can I do? I really doubt these things are using... In fact, I think there's actually a thing with Ableton Live 11 where you can see like how much computer resources that each of these is using. Who knows? So this is a fresh granulator, and let's start fresh. Let's I was gonna do the crystal bowl again. I'm like, nah, we need something different. Yeah, let's do this guitar. So my first thoughts here is I don't know if all of these are going to be the same pitch. So we're probably going to want to hone in on one of these. Now, as I told you, as a good rule of thumb, you're going to start on this grain page, but if we go to this filter page, just grain and filter, always know where your amp envelope is. So no attack, which means we're going to get full volume. And by the way, we need to record enable. If you do Command Option L, you do that. That's the hotkey, which I'm assuming means it's Control Option L on a PC. Always want there to be a good, healthy release. And yeah, so let's click play. And its sustain is all the way up. That's the important one. If you want to hold a note and have it, the volume to sustain high, you can even take it down just a little bit so it doesn't just go all the way up and stay. Sounds good, doesn't it? Now I wonder if this CPU will be spiking like it did before. Let's give it some attack because it seems a little too heady in the beginning. Before. Yeah, it just cranked, and it shouldn't be popping at 33 CPU either. So let's go back to grain, and let's move it in to more of this part. Wow, sounds like a violin. I'm gonna drop tuner really quick. I wanna see if it's playing like a really good solid note. Because it's like chopping. I'm gonna take the grain in. Zoom for the zoom. Yikes. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? So if we go back into here, we'll click on the filter. We're on a low pass. But it's not really giving us what we want because it doesn't seem like it's a very quality note. You might like that and that's fine, but I want it to be a little more... Here, let's try the spread. Like right now, all I'm really concerned with is this grain and this file position. Now let's do spray. Let's do us bad mouth and spray. Let's see if, who knows, maybe sometimes some of these options work better with certain material and other times not. Let's check out spray. Now we're not going to get any spray, I don't believe, unless we turn it up. So let's play it and then move it up. Oh, thank you, spray. Yeah, stupid. And this LFO is weird. It's like file position, right? LFO down here. If I turn on LFO, okay, 10 seconds is really long, but it's weird because if I put this on file position, it should just move this little bar slightly, right? You know, so I would want a very small milliseconds. And we're not going to get anything unless we turn up the LFO amount here. This is just saying what is the LFO's parameter. So if we turn this up, let's see if it doesn't also mangle the sound to death and render it atonal. Like spray, thank you, spray. Oh, that's so musical. It's like white noise. I mean, why? It's not supposed to be doing that. It's like doing it to the pitch. So it's like, no, thank you. So what I would do is probably won't be able to do it since my computer's like, you're working me too hard today. It's like, no, I think the energies are just really high and heavy. Let's apply it to file position. Yeah, we're really gonna have to bring this down. Look, dude, It must take up a lot of space. Like, look, I'm already peaking and I'm like not even playing a sound. That's ridiculous. I think something's going on. Something is going on. I put this to like 1%, but it moved. It moved. Yeah, I guess we're not going to be able to use LFO with it. So, do you want to see if I'm right about scan and AM as well? And I don't want, again, if you guys are like, hey, like, I'm going to just work with it and figure out, like, when it's good, do it. I mean, it's always good to learn these things. You feel really good about yourself when you're like, you've, like, tried everything out and you're like, okay, I know the good stuff now. Yeah, you don't sound all that, maybe this? Turn it off? Yeah, it did nothing. This is supposed to be amplitude modulation, which means what we hear should not change at all. It's just the volume is going up and down, but, well, let's have a look, shall we? Oh, some white noise. Well, thank you, dear. Yeah, goodbye. And I'm going to turn these off just so they don't use any computer resources because my computer is being a prima donna today. Maybe it just needs some time, you know? Just be nice to it. It'll work out. So we got this filter envelope, but we can also get FM. So check this out. I actually found this is kind of cool. Fade it in. Like that effect will fade in, but it will only fade in if we do the envelope amount. Come on, you remember, right? It's kind of abrasive, so why don't we take this down and maybe we'll give, let's give some envelope. Let's go back into here and let's shift up the pitch. See what that sounds like? Sounds intense, man, I'll tell you. So to be honest with you, I think we're gonna chill with the granulator. It's kind of upsetting. It's been acting so weird. I mean, it is like processing lots of grains, but like I never run into CPU spikes, and this might be like the first time ever on this channel that we did, and something tells me it's not because, well, Granulator is like 8x the amount of CPU than like everything in Ableton combined. Like you just happened to stumble across the most CPU intensive thing in the entire world of the Ableton. I really doubt it. I really doubt it. I think my electronics are just acting up today. Like it's spiking. Even Merlin's like just twitched in his bed right there. Like it's well, as of recording this, we just had the equinox. That's the astrological new year. New energy comes in. Pluto, see, it just spiked for no reason. Like I hope this isn't like an awful SDHO to edit. Because when it was doing that back then, every time there would be like that little, like for no reason, like just from this, like maybe the thing isn't, I don't know. Each time it did that, like the timing would drift. It was weird, like something's happening, like the time is shifting and stuff. It's kind of crazy. What was that thing I said we should probably play with? Another grain device, that's really good, that they could also add. Oh, actually they did add it. It's an instrument. The vector grain. Let's see if we have the same problem with vector grain. See, that's what you got to do. You always got to do when things don't work. You got to like troubleshoot. You know what I mean? Because if all of a sudden we're doing vector grain, which is basically the same thing, we're dropping a sample in here, and yeah, we've got a lot of, we got a lot going on in here. I mean, I wasn't even playing notes. I just had an LFO moving a parameter in Granulator, and it was like a second away from spiking. So yeah, I guess we're gonna have to keep playing around because if we play around with vector grain, we got no problems. Then that means granulators is like a workhorse, apparently, you know, or a not workhorse. Yeah, you know what I mean. Now, vector grain is really cool. I like it a lot. I haven't used it a lot, but I don't know. Was it that? Yeah, let's do this one. This one might be good. So this is an E on the piano. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to shoot balls. They're kind of like atoms, you know. And if you do multiple, like some will like rotate around other ones. But if you think of this as like an X and Y axis, and when the ball moves in this direction on the X axis, it'll be like so like you'll map a parameter, and we'll have to figure out what it is. You map a parameter on the X axis from like low to high, and the same thing. And when the ball goes this way, you're going towards this extreme of the x-axis, and when it goes up this way, you're going to this extreme of the y-axis, and so maybe it'll be pitch or it'll be something weird. But I found that, like, and I could be wrong, but it seemed like, yeah. So these are basically like, these granular synthesizers are pretty much kind of like samplers. Like they do kind of like the same thing. In fact, maybe that's just the appropriate word, granular synthesizer. So I'm moving this in because I think this might be like this might be one chord and this might be a second chord. So I think I'm going to keep it in house. I may have to go smaller. This might be like 2 phrases. I can't really tell. In which case I would, well, I guess you can move it with that. Yeah, let's click normalize. Let's record this, and let's just see what we have. I'm going to play one note. Let's isolate a chord. It's weird because it's like... It's like cutting out too soon. So let's start clicking around here and pan. Okay, well, the x-axis is pan. I don't, right? Yeah, I don't know. And then up and down is filter hertz. I think we're gonna need to get this pan off. What should we do? Size, I guess. Hey, there we go. That sounds a lot better. I don't like the envelope. Let's see what sort of envelope. Is there an envelope section? I don't like it. It's like it's not starting abruptly. Oh, I think I've got a pretty good idea. Let's drop an appreciacja. We might not be able to like drag this many notes. Let's play with this scale. So it's doing something I don't like. Is it volume? Yeah, this gain. We don't need this. Why? I don't want like it to. Where was it even? The speed of the ball. I want it to play like consistently. I want like playing down there was dumb. All right, so I think what I might do. This start. Oh, this start. Yeah, this is probably making it sound like crap. Let's turn this off. Like I'm hitting it and there's like a delay. Well, here, I'm gonna close the ARP for now. And I want it to be, I want there to be a release. Like I'm used to having control over the release size. I'm gonna get rid of this. We're gonna simplify it. I want it to just be, this is weird. You know what? Let's go back. I'm starting to really like this, by the way. What about you? Let's just do it all like this. No, I don't want to do that. What I want is, I like the way this guy sounds. Let's see, like, why was it so quiet at the beginning? And why are they not showing these stupid ass balls anymore? And like, why would that one just go like blork out? Yeah, I think you need to like some of them, okay. Is it the size that's doing this? Start. Like, why is sometimes the balls are playing and other times they aren't? I don't know, my friends, but I was playing with this the other, and now we've got, yeah, and I think like you can make them, maybe you have to like hold it down like this. I'm holding them down. That's kind of annoying. I want to know how you change that. This is really cool, actually. Let's go to this magnetism. Wow. Look, I'm holding down 3 notes. It's doing all this craziness and it's not spiking. Maybe it is granulator. I don't know if I'm just like using a lot of delay lately, but I have a feeling this will sound pretty good running it through here. And I'm taking, see, this is the filter. A lot of times you don't really want the lowest lows delaying and the highest highs. When the highest highs delay, it can just be really annoying. Let's see, what about this? She looks really, it's pretty cool. I'm actually like really liking this. And then maybe you just want to turn it the hell off and then get the hell off. That was fun though, wasn't it? Is there any other... oh, yeah, definitely got one. This actually might be very interesting. I might title this All of the Grains. Because we've got more, my friends. We got more. So let's get something simple. Not too simple. Let's get wavetable because I'd rather just use it. All of these start with a sine wave anyway, and then you can just get progressively more complicated thereafter. So what's this next one? Oh, well, you bet, Max for Live. You were correct. Yay. But it's not a Max instrument. It's a Max effect. What do you think? Grain freeze. So we're going to play something and right now, okay? Wavetable, amp. Always know where it is. Always look for the amp envelope before you do anything. You click frozen. Remember, position. I want to see how the spray is kind of like massaging it, and the other one was like causing havoc. Fade. Frozen. Help. Man, I don't even want to know what help is. It sounds a little too intense. I guess I just must be on that delay drip because I feel like this will, it's like I need it to smooth. By the way, it made those crazy sounds because I have it on repitch. This thing seems to be handling it good. Ooh. So, like, listen to this. You're not supposed to have a delay on a bass. If it's the first thing you learn in music school, is if you ever put delay on a bass, then you can never do anything with music ever again, says the universe. You know what I mean? Why does everyone say that? I almost feel like people will say that like they've never even experimented. This sounds so good. Like, if you told me that all we would have is a sine wave. Oh, let's see if this changes. Check this out now. All of the grains. Grain delay. Now this spray makes it kind of crazy. It's doing some yeah. You get that sound when you do some pitch. That's that classic grain delay sound. Grain delay is perfect at giving this sound. Wow, listen to that. Wowzers. I think that's all the devices. Grain freeze is an audio max audio effect. Auto pan for the for this. It's just volume. Kind of like that. Just adds a little bit. If you find it just right, it amazing. Grain delay in audio effects. Vector grain. Max for live audio effects, grain freeze. And yeah, granulator. I think that's all of them.